The saloon door slammed open and every head in Red Rock turned. Tom stood there, rain dripping off his huge shoulders, filling the whole doorway like a wall. Men stopped mid-drink. A chair scraped back. Someone's cards fell from their hand onto the wet floor. He was the tallest man anyone had ever seen. His boots hit the wood floor hard with each step, and the whole room seemed to shake a little. People stared. A few laughed, quiet and nervous, hiding it behind their hands. A young cowhand near the bar whispered to his friend, "Look at the size of him, but he can't even fit through most doors." Tom walked past them all without a word. He reached the bar, where a small kitten sat shaking in the corner, soaked and crying in the rain that had blown in through a broken window. The bartender had been trying to shoo it out with a broom. Everyone expected Tom to step on it, kick it, or ignore it like the tough men usually did. Instead, Tom bent down slowly. His huge hand, big enough to crush a melon, reached out and gently scooped up the tiny kitten. He held it close to his chest, careful as if it were made of glass. The whole saloon went quiet. Nobody laughed anymore. "You are safe now, little one," Tom said softly, so soft that men had to lean in to hear him. An old rancher near the door shook his head and muttered, "Never thought I'd see a giant cradle a kitten like a baby." Tom did not care what they thought. He wrapped the kitten in his coat and walked back out into the storm, his boots splashing through puddles, his shoulders bent slightly against the rain. Behind him, the saloon buzzed with whispers. Some laughed at him, some judged him, but one old woman near the window, Granny Sue, smiled quietly to herself, watching the giant disappear into the dark, storm-soaked street. The rain came down hard, and Alina's horse reared up when lightning cracked the sky wide open. She hit the ground hard. Mud splashed up around her. Pain shot through her leg like fire, and when she tried to stand, her leg gave way beneath her. The river was close, too close. Water rushed past, brown and angry, rising fast with every minute of rain. "Help me, please, somebody," Alina screamed, but the storm swallowed her voice whole. Thunder rolled over her words like they were nothing. She dragged herself back with her hands, away from the water, but the ground was slick and her leg would not hold her weight. Cold water touched her boots, then her ankles. She looked down and saw the river creeping higher, inch by inch, like it wanted to pull her in. "No, no, please," she whispered, tears mixing with the rain on her face. Far off, Tom rode home through the storm, his horse's hooves splashing through mud. He almost missed it. A scream, thin and far away, buried under the thunder. He pulled his horse to a stop and sat still, listening hard. There again, a scream. Tom kicked his horse into a run. Branches whipped past him. Mud flew up behind his boots as he rode straight toward the sound, faster than most men would dare in such a storm. When he reached the river, he saw her. Alina, half in the rising water, too weak to crawl further, her eyes wide with fear. Tom did not stop to think. He jumped off his horse and ran straight into the river. The water pulled hard at his legs, trying to knock him down, but his huge body stood firm against it. He reached her just as a wave rushed toward the spot where she lay. His huge arms scooped her up like she weighed nothing. "I have got you," he said, his deep voice steady and calm. "You are safe now." Alina grabbed his shirt tight and did not let go as he carried her away from the roaring water and into the dark, rain-soaked night. Alina's leg healed slow, day by day. Tom brought her food every morning, warm bread and hot soup, setting it down without a word, then going back to his chores. He never stared. He never asked for anything. He just took care of her, quiet and steady, like it was the most normal thing in the world. One morning, Alina watched him through the window. A tiny chick had wandered from the coop, lost and peeping in the dirt. Tom knelt down, his huge body folding small, and picked it up with 2 fingers, gentle as a whisper. He carried it back to its mother like it was made of glass. Alina's heart did something strange then. It softened. Soon her leg grew strong enough to walk. She went into town and the whole street stopped to look at her. Whispers followed her like a shadow. Who is she? Where did she come from? By evening, every young man in Red Rock knew her name. The banker's son came first, holding flowers, his boots polished bright. "Miss Alina, would you take a walk with me?" Then came the sheriff, tipping his hat low. "I would be honored to have dinner with you." Even the mayor's nephew rode in from 3 towns over, dressed sharp, smiling wide. "They say you are the finest woman in the territory." Alina smiled at them all, polite but distant. Her eyes kept drifting past their shoulders, toward the barn, where Tom worked quietly, pretending not to notice the line of men outside his own house. Granny Sue watched this too. One evening she sat beside Alina. "So many fine men want you, child. Who will you pick?" Alina looked toward the barn one more time. Tom was lifting a heavy beam alone, sweat on his brow, saying nothing, wanting nothing. "Granny," Alina said softly, "I already know whose hands pulled me from the river. I already know whose kindness fed me every single day. Why would my heart look anywhere else?" Granny Sue's eyes filled with quiet joy. She said nothing more, only smiled and walked away into the fading light. Sunday morning, the town square was packed. Every man who had ever brought Alina flowers stood waiting, hats in hand, hearts hopeful. Alina climbed onto a wooden crate so everyone could see her. The crowd went quiet, waiting to hear which lucky man she would choose. "I have thought hard about this," Alina said, her voice steady and clear. "One man in Red Rock saved my life. One man cared for me every single day and asked for nothing back. That man is Tom." Silence fell over the square like a heavy blanket. Then whispers broke out, fast and sharp. "The giant, she picked the giant." Tom stood near the back, half hidden behind a wagon. His ears burned hot. His huge chest pounded hard, like his heart wanted to break free. Slowly, he stepped forward, boots crunching on the dirt, until he stood in front of Alina. "You want me?" he asked, his deep voice shaking just a little. "Even though I am too big, too different from every other man here." Alina stepped down and took his huge hand between both of hers. It looked so small against his palm. "Tom, you pulled me from a raging river when nobody else could hear me screaming. You fed me, sheltered me, and never once asked for a thing. Your size never scared me. Your heart is what won me. I do not want a small man with a small heart. I want you." Tom's eyes filled with tears, something no one in Red Rock had ever seen on the tough giant's face. The men who had once lined up outside his house looked at each other, then at Tom, then at Alina's face glowing with love. One by one, they began to clap. Slow at first, then loud, filling the whole square with sound. Granny Sue stood at the front, smiling wide, remembering the sad giant she once comforted on a lonely porch. That summer, Tom and Alina married under the wide Red Rock sky. Nobody called him the monster again. Instead, they called him the luckiest man in town, and Alina the wisest woman, for she found the treasure hidden inside a giant's heart when nobody else could see it.